Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I'm dancing. Okay. I shall turn down the music, shall I? All right, I'll turn it down. Okay, I was bumping away here, bumping away. There we go. Let's gradually turn it down. There you are. There you are. All right, enough. Oh, I'm feeling so good this morning. Hey, this is the Motivator Show alongside Empress Abna. That way she be here at the moment. You know, it's Ramadan. Yeah, Ramadan Mubarak to all the Muslim followers. Praise be, praise be. Oh, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling really good. All right, let's get this show on the way. People, I hope you're feeling good yourself. Remember, it's an attitude of mind. Here, we translate our words into action, and where success is ours for the taking. For the taking! Don't forget, it's for the taking. It's a mindset, it's a will, it's a determination. Success is ours for the taking. Don't expect it to be easy all the time, mind you. I should point that out to you. Resistance is to be anticipated, but your mental state is such that success is assured. This will be an interesting show today. Okay? Show, podcast, whatever you wish to describe it as. Okay? This will be an interesting experience. So I want to give a big shout out to all of you who are viewing us via YouTube, of course, under the Motivator channel. Okay, I want to give compliments to you for viewing us live via YouTube under the Motivator channel. I also want to give praise and respect to those of you who view us via Facebook Live, again under the Motivator channel. Okay, so of course, those are two important platforms. I want to give rise and respect to those of you who are listening to us via Mixcloud, again under the Motivator channel. Okay, but I want to give a special shout out to all of you who are listening to us via Galaxy FAW.net. I want to say it again, Galaxy FAW.net. This is where this show emanated from. Okay, so I want to give praise to the Galaxy management and enough respect to you all. Yeah, enough respect to you all. I also want to recognize and extend my gratitude to the regular listeners and viewers. Thank you for your listening ears, as the leader of Galaxy Freeway would say. And I want to thank you for viewing us through the various platforms. And the number of platforms will extend over time. Okay. I want to give a real respect to you all. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your support. There are times when I wondered if I should continue doing this, but each time I have those doubts, I'm reassured I should continue with the Saturday morning show between 8 and 10 every Saturday morning. And I've been doing this now for nearly 3 years now. Oh my gosh. Since just before the pandemic. Yeah. Wow. Time flies. Huh? 3 years. Oh my gosh. In fact, it's 3 years last month. Wow. It has been quite a journey. So I'm grateful for your listening ear. I'm grateful for you extending to us that respect. Okay, so thank you. But I also want to respect those who participated in the show. Okay, yes, I'm doing a lot of congratulations and respect this morning. I know. It's that mood I'm in. Huh? I want to recognize you all, both the guest and the telephone contributors. I want to say thank you so much for your contribution. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And without you, the shows, the podcast, the live transmissions, would not have been possible. Thank you. There you are. Following my meditation this morning, that felt right. That was the right action this morning, first thing. Okay. But as you know, the typical format for these shows is that I always start the show with initial congratulations to those who I know and recognize, but also an important segment between now and half past. Of course, the health messages. And I know for certain, and I've spoken to not hundreds, but thousands of people over this time, that the health messages, initially, there was some resistance to the health messages, but I'm now very confident that these health messages, very basic health messages, I might add, have saved lives, transformed lives, affected attitudes. So I will continue to give out these health messages to save lives, to transform lives, so you will have a better life experience. But more importantly, I say more importantly, I've got to say this, the adults will teach the children how to live healthily. Take care of your physical, mental, and spiritual health. As a parent, as guardians, as elders, it's one of our responsibilities to ensure that the families we belong to, the families we're connected with, our associates, the wider members of the community, hear our wise word. Words given not because we seek financial gain or out of hubris, because it's in recognition there's a duty to pass on knowledge, awareness, raise awareness, where it will benefit the wider community. It is essential. It is a duty that we must honor. Okay. So I will begin, and just bear with me for a few minutes. I really want this message to get across. Every week, I ask you to consider the amount of sugar and salt that you ingest each day. But the challenge was posed to me this week, of course, by both young and old, that sugar and salt are a natural part of the background environment. In other words, it's in the food we eat naturally. Right? And I say to those people, that's true. That's absolutely true. And it was a particularly young, precocious mind. And he went on to say, so why tell people to not take it in? I had to respond with a smile. Patience is virtuous, always in these circumstances, and point out to this young mind, yes, sugar and salt is in the background foods that we eat, but it's in the quantum that our bodies genetically is predisposed to process without harming ourselves. I paused and I watched his brain ticking over. And he said, what you mean is, he called me, I was referred to as counselor, but it's okay. Counselor, you mean we're eating too much of it? I said, yes. And this child was 8 years old. And he got it instantly. He got it. Then looked around and he took out of his pocket. He said, that means I can't eat this. It was, I think it was licorice. I said, well, you can eat it, okay. But maybe you could maybe eat a quarter of it, wrap it up, and next week eat another quarter. So you moderate the amount of sugar, additional sugar you're ingesting. It looked at me wide-eyed like this. Yes, I will do that. Do you know what he said at the end? Thank you. Oh, what a wonderful mind. What a wonderful mind. He processed, analyzed, negotiated, and I know he will honor his promise. What a mind. What a mind. What a mind. If only the adults were like that. If only the adults were like that. Mm-hmm. If only, huh? So I'm going to begin. I ask you, please, to consider the amount of sugar and salt that you are ingesting every day. You add to your diet. Yeah, the additional sugars you buy from the grocery store, the cartons of salt you buy from the grocery stores. I ask you to consider the impact additional salt and sugar has on your bodies. In our communities, as is cited by the Vice Chancellor of the University of the West Indies, within the Caribbean in particular, there is an epidemic of diabetes, and indeed a higher prevalence of hypertension or high blood pressure. Professor Hilary Beckles noted, who's the Vice Chancellor, in his own family, immediate family, and wider families, there are members of his family with diabetes and high blood pressure. And many of you will be well aware of the immediate, medium, and long-term impact those two conditions have on our physiology, our bodies, our minds, our way of life. In some cases, it is quite debilitating. So taking in additional salt and sugar has consequences. So I ask you please to consider the amount of salt and sugar that you are ingesting. I ask you to think carefully about the long-term consequences. I know it's difficult. I recognize it's difficult, okay? But in my case, it was a gradual reduction over, in my case, 10 years. Yeah? To no longer need to have additional sugar and salt added to my teas and coffees. Right? I'm very careful about the drinks I consume. Okay? I most certainly do not add salt to my cooking, and I do love to cook. Okay? So I simply ask you to consider. That's all. I'm not an instruction. I am not a GP. I'm not a doctor. But I have spoken to doctors. I have spoken to nutritionists. I have spoken to public health officials, and we've had a number of them here on this show. And it's universal. It is unanimous that these public health conditions, referred to public health because it's so numerous, so widespread, are having serious implications for our community. So I ask you please to consider the amount of salt and sugar you add to your diet. Equally, I ask you to consider the amount of carbohydrates and fat that you add to your diets. Now, carbohydrates typically derive from wheat products, and of course some vegetables, root vegetables such as yams. I know I said it, yam and potatoes. And I know I can hear the West Africans talking about the yam. Many of us in the Caribbean talk about the yam, but we like the yam. I understand. I understand. But the excessive consumption of of carbohydrates can potentially adversely impact your body, your general health. Equally, fat primarily derived from animals, okay? Whether that is the dairy product that you consume, okay, or the meat that you consume, okay, they're simply primarily based in fat. So I simply ask you to consider the amount of carbohydrates and fat that you consume. And now that's far more difficult for some, and I recognize this. I absolutely recognize this, you know. But the benefit of thinking about where you are consuming, what are your sources of carbohydrates, okay? Okay. Seek a professional advice. Speak to your doctor, speak to a nutritionist or nutritional pharmacist, okay? They're the expert. Tell them what your typical cuisine will be over a week period, over a month period, so you can identify where you're eating excessive amount of the sugar, salt, carbohydrates, and fat. I simply ask you to consider the quantum you're consuming every day. That's the challenge. We do it every day in excess. I simply ask you to consider the quantum, the amount that you're consuming. Now, I mentioned dairy products, but I mentioned deliberately, because dairy products are just another form of fat, cow's fat primarily. Cheese is hardened fat, margarine not so hardened. Yeah. When you grill meat, yes, water comes out of it, but an awful lot of fat will come out of the beef, the lamb in particular. Yeah. So I simply ask you to consider the amount of fat that you're consuming, the amount of carbohydrate you consume every day. I'm not expecting you to go cold turkey, as it were, and stop it overnight. My recommendation is, and I'm not a professional, a gradual reduction so your palate can adjust over time. And if your loved one or friend you know has got one of those conditions, diabetes, high blood pressure, okay, or is suffering from obesity, overweightness, which is particularly affecting our women, I've noticed. In fact, the stats say, particularly in the US, 80% of African American women are overweight, heavier per height than the men. Gosh, the health consequences is significant, truly significant. And black women or African women here in the UK are not far off those figures, are not far off, but not quite so. And so we as a community have a duty to communicate these messages to our loved ones, to our families, to our friends, to our wider associates and community members. It's so important. So important. Last ingredient that we add regularly to our diet is called starch. Again, just like carbohydrate, we store in our bodies, convert to energy, okay, when we need it. And when we had limited access to nutrients, okay, yes, the quantum we consume at the moment was appropriate, okay, was appropriate, because we were clearly exercise far more, but we store starch, carbohydrates, as it were, in our bodies. So you see these bloated shoulders, bloated abdomen, yeah, bloated thighs, bloated buttocks or bottoms, if you like. Okay. No, it is not healthy. It is not healthy. I've got to say with a certain emphasis here, it is not healthy, and most certainly will not aid and abet your longevity in your life. So I simply ask you to consider quantum, the amount of each of those ingredients we add to our diet. The carbohydrates, the starch in particular, are particular features of our diet. We need to think carefully. And you recall when we had the nutritional pharmacist here, when he recommended that per meal, I know it's difficult, we should eat no more than a fistful of food. You know, I know. Trust me, I know. I hear you. A fistful, huh? I hear you. I hear you. I've gradually, and it will take time, reducing my quantum. Because as a child, look, my parents, God bless them, they put, young boy, I could eat vast quantities of food. I have to say, I look back and I have no idea how I put it away. I would never do that today. I can tell you that much. Uh, yeah, but we teach our children these habits: overeating, and we particularly, and I know we did out of love, give our children lots of sweets. Too many parents give our children too much sweets, and far too many products that contain high salt contents, like crisps, for example. In fact, only the other day, I was at a location in my ward, with teenagers and early 20 somethings. Okay, as part of their reward was a table full of sweets and crisps. All I could see there was health damage in the future health damage. That's all I could see. I was horrified, in fact, in this day and age. The organization that was helping them was treating them with sweets and crisps. Please, we have to stop this. Please, we have to stop this. And if in doubt about what I've said, please, I want to encourage you, speak to your doctor, speak to your nutritionist, speak to the pharmacist. They're the expert. Let them give you the advice. Whoever has access to your medical records, let them give you the real advice. Okay? I'm providing broad advice. Okay? They will give you the specific advice which is appropriate for you. Okay? So I really want you to think carefully about what you eat, how you eat. As you know, it's so important that we drink the appropriate amount of water each day. I'm told by the expert between 2 to 3 liters. It really depends on your height and your mass. Of course, I have my water here. I keep it handy. I drink just maybe 3 liters of water per day. It does vary depending on my mood and activity. I keep it handy. You can hear it. I do that just to prove I have got the water handy. I want you to think about it. I want to affect your attitude to water. Plain water, I might add, and you do need to add it something to maybe a little bit of lemon. In my case, a little bit of lemon and ginger I might add to my water. But most critically, I drink to ensure I'm able to cleanse my body. My body will take care of itself. Well, having said all of this, it doesn't mean the darn thing, even if you're eating right and you're drinking right, yeah, water in other words, okay, I don't mean alcohol, I mean water. If you don't exercise, exercise is mission critical. I'm going to say it again. Exercise is mission critical. You've got to exercise. I know many of you work, you think you're exercising for work. That may be the case in some cases where you're walking around a bit. But that's not real exercise. Exercise means stretching all your muscles, using all your muscles, not some of your muscles. So I want to positively encourage you to exercise. If you can afford to go to a gym, go to a gym, but opt for the training sessions that you engage a personal trainer at the gym. If you can afford a personal trainer to come to your home, do so. It is mission critical. Mission critical. You've got to exercise. Eating well, drinking well, I mean water of course, is all well and good. If you don't exercise, it means nothing or very little. Okay? You've got to exercise. Human beings are genetically predisposed to exercise. That will keep and maintains our vitality. Okay? Eating well, drinking a appropriate amount of water, and exercises raises your immunoresponse, boosts your immunoresponse. Yeah, it's good for your immune system and helps protect you from the bacteria, viruses, and all the other maladies that pervade the background environment or people you come in contact with. It is absolutely critical, absolutely critical. And of course, oh yes, I've got it here. I've almost forgotten. Here is my weights. I like demonstrating my weight. It's a further indication. And I can do this, I always do this for at least 30 minutes a day. In addition to the running and the general exercise, I like to use my weights. My weights, could I, I work in office. I don't do physical work, unfortunately. I do office work. Oh dear, this is really good. You can hear me puffing already, huh? That's why I love them. My muscles are being pushed, okay? And my muscles are being pushed that they don't atrophy. They maintain their vigor and their youthfulness, okay? That's why when I meet you every Saturday morning, I'm feeling so alive. I'm really feeling alive, huh? Because I've really used my energies in ways that benefits me, you know? I pause there because I now need to just mention two other elements of our general health and well-being. Taking care of your mental and spiritual health is as important as taking care of all the other aspects of who you are. And if you doubt about your mental health, I implore you, I implore you to seek professional advice. Okay? Go to your GP, go to your doctor, whoever has access to your medical records. Explain the situation, and I'm confident that they will signpost you to the correct specialist. It is not a shame. There's no shame in this. There are far too many members of the community who are embarrassed to admit that they need help. I wish to implore you to seek out that professional help. Equally, I say to you, your spiritual health is critical. You must take care of your spiritual health. I meditate and I reason. Meditation I've found to be a powerful tool to focus your mind, clearing your mind of all the trials and tribulations, yeah, all the foolishness around us, okay, and focus and center yourself. Focus your energies. Okay. An hour, for me, an hour of meditation a day keeps all the wildness away. How about that? Huh? Trust me, it really does. Huh? And I'm surrounded by a great deal of wildness, be assured. Okay? And provide that mental and psychological resilience that I can thrive in sometimes hostile environments. Huh? But I excel in environments that are holistic and wholesome, ones that are loving and caring. I can excel because my mindset is right. There you go. But this is you also. I emphasize, this is you also. This is absolutely you also. Raise your energy levels. Think positive. Yeah. Think positive. So this is the Motivator Show. This is where we translate our words into action and where success is ours for the taking. Praise be. Oh yeah. Praise be. And long may it continue this way. Long may it continue this way. All right. Okay. That's the health messages. I hope those words resonate with you, and I hope they continue to help. That's all. That's all. It's up to you. Decision is always yours. Okay. So what I want to do now is just move on to the next phase. But before I do that, in fact, I want to give a recognition to my guest, our guest indeed, last week. I wonder how many of you remember him? How many of you remember him? Hmm? I remember. How many of you remember him? Can you remember his name? A young man who visited the country of his parents and was so inspired by the experience that he committed to going back to the birthplace of his parents and contributing to that society. But first, and he's going to make sure that he will, I emphasize that he will do what's necessary to gain all the qualifications that he needs in order to transfer the skills from here that he's acquired to the country of his parents, which I understand both Kenya and Somalia. So if a young person that age is prepared to make that level of commitment, what about us older ones? He was so inspired by what he saw that he was committed, completely committed. I emphasize completely committed to going back to the birthplace of his parents, in making a positive contribution to life in his parents' homeland. He was born here in this country. And it is an interesting one. It is an interesting one. He spoke so eloquently. He emphasized that prior to him going back to his parents' homeland in Kenya, that in fact he was kind of uncertain about his studies, but having been there, he's come back with renewed energy, renewed enthusiasm, a strong desire to make a difference. So what I've got to say to everyone listening to this, think about the children. Give them a purpose. Inspire them. Inspire them. His mother, I have to say, is someone I have the highest respect for. Okay? The highest respect for. And his mother is truly an inspired human being. And that's the purpose of good parenting, to inspire, to infuse, their children, our children, if you like. Anything is possible. Okay? I'm going to say again, anything is possible. Okay? And if in doubt, seek out professional advice. I say again, if in doubt, seek out professional advice. So what I want to do, and where young people are concerned, is encourage them to think about the future, particularly if you're, during that teenage period. I remember being a teenager, okay, what it was like, what it meant, of course, but certainly what it was like. Okay. It is during that time, particularly, it is incumbent upon us adults to inspire the young mind. Okay. It is incumbent upon us, the adults, to inspire the young mind. And if we're not sure how to inspire the young mind, I would implore parents, please, seek professional advice. Speak to, my co-presenter, Empress Abner. Oh, let me bring her in. Okay, bring her into the stream. There we go. Bring her into the stream. Oh, good morning to you, Empress Abner.
Good morning.
How are you feeling this fine morning?
Um, it's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's the holidays, so it's good. It's good.
I understand. I do understand. Don't worry. I completely understand. And I should say, Ramadan Mubarak.
Ramadan Mubarak. You only say it at the beginning of
Okay.
Ramadan, so you don't have to say it every time you see someone. But yeah,
Oh,
it's still Ramadan. We're 10 days in. Can't believe it already. Out
uh-huh.
of the 30 days, we're 10 days in, so it's been really nice. My son has been amazing. He's been getting up early, fasting, and so I'm very impressed with that young man at the moment. Very, very impressed.
Mhm. And I'm just commenting, and thank you for that. I'm just commenting on the young man we spoke to last week. Huh? Wasn't he so inspired? Yeah.
Is it Amadin? Amadin?
I'm a dean.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He is. He's very inspiring. He reminded me of a young guy that I saw on a charity show, and they were at the same age, and he'd raised money, went out to his country, and worked in other projects. So he reminds me very much of that young man as well. So yeah, I like to see the young people doing well.
Absolutely. We're of like minds.
Mm.
So just share with the listeners, if we've got a few minutes for our guest arrive, how was your week?
It has been so busy. Oh my God. Even my line managers were like, we haven't seen you. People at work are like, we haven't seen you. And I'm like, I've been busy. Like, I sent two of my families away on holiday yesterday, and there was a mess up with the booking. So I was arranging that. So I worked until about 7:30 last night.
Hmm.
So I got to work at 8:30. I did not finish till around 7:30. So that was crazy. A lot of my families, I'm trying to arrange a coffee morning again for the 26th of April. So I'm trying to get loads of services to come in, like autism support. The police are coming, Sapphire Community. Thank you to the ladies that came last time. Maybe the MP that we had last time, Matia. Is it Matia?
Mayata.
Mayata, yes. I'm trying to get in touch with her to come down as well. Safer Neighborhood.
I know she wants to talk to you. Don't you worry.
Yeah, so I'm going to get her. I'm trying to get Sayas from Mentivity to come down as well. There's loads of people I'm trying to get to come down because I think it's very important that we are aware of the things that are in Southwark, because Southwark has a lot and not a lot of people are aware of them. So I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to have an aspiration week at both schools. So wow. I'm trying to get...
yeah, tell us more. Yes.
Yeah, my sister to come down. She works for quite a good company in the city. So I'm going to get her to come down to teach about financing, women in IT, especially Black women in IT, because there's not enough. So hopefully she's going to come down. I've got my friend who works in immigration to come down as well. Maybe somebody who works in the airlines to come down as well. So trying to get a lot of people who are very... I would say ethnic minorities to come down and show children what they could aspire to be to. Like the Brandon estate is not just their life. So absolutely. That's what I'm doing. Dealing with attendance, because a lot of kids, I don't know if you've read in the newspaper recently that attendance is the biggest problems in schools. So I'm working with a lot of families in trying to get them kids into school, even if that means me knocking on your door and making your kids put on their uniform and come into school. I'm doing all of that. So yeah, it's been a busy week, And I'm going to work.
I'd love to ask that question. There's so much going on around.
Yeah. So, and also Monday, I said I'll work for about 4 hours, even though now I'm off. I'm going to work for a few more hours before I just relax with my son. So yeah.
Good for you. That's why I love having you here. You're always so interesting. Okay.
Do you think so? My son would say that. My son definitely want to say I'm interesting. But yeah, I'll take it. Yeah. And also because I've learned as well that a lot of people don't speak a lot of English. So I've started to learn Arabic, my home language, and a bit of other people's languages, like basic conversations, so I can speak to my parents more, because it's getting hard using Google. Trying to learn other languages, and asking my friends to do the translation and finding the time is so hard and so time consuming. I'm taking time out of their schedule as well. So I've got one friend, she works with refugees who want to work in the country, and she's so amazing. Like anytime I need someone to speak Amharic or anything like that, she's on it. She's ready. Call me at this time and I'll help you. So it's really important.
And that allows you to both communicate with the parents and, of course, showing that respect to the parents, you're able to influence their children as well. Yeah, absolutely. I completely understand. But I became multilingual for that reason.
Yeah.
To earn the respect of the children, you need to be able to demonstrate that you have the respect of their parents, and thereby they see you as someone to respect and listen to, okay, and accept the guidance. Absolutely, you're a natural teacher. That's why I love having you here.
No, but no, sometimes it has its downfall, because a lot of people say to me, "But you're Muslim, you should know better," or "Because you're Muslim, you're this," and I'm like, no, it doesn't mean. I said Muslims have faults. I'm not indispensable. I'm not a superhero. Oh, you're Ghanaian. People were like, "Oh, I never thought you were Ghanaian." Oh, so you can help me because you're Ghanaian, and I'm like, "Oh, I don't know about that." But it does. Don't get me wrong. It has its positives, but it has its downfall with any job, with anything you do. But I think sometimes I just like to let people guess where I'm from, or not know who I am. It makes things easier for me personally.
Okay, well, okay. We've got our guest as well.
Lovely. This
is going to be really interesting because it's following on the previous show before last, which I'll expand upon it in a moment. Let me first of all bring our guest into the live stream first of all. Am I there yet? I'm not there yet.
No, second. You're not there.
All right.
I hope everyone's having a good Saturday.
I'm sorry?
I hope everyone's having a good Saturday.
Oh, yes. We hope so too. 1 second. I just want to get this up again. Right. My machine has just done something very strange just now. I don't know why. There you are. I'll get back in now. There we are. Bring our guest into the main studio. Oh, we've succeeded. There we go. Oh, can you hear us all right, first of all?
Hey, can you hear me okay?
Brilliant. Yes, absolutely. I like this Flash MBE.
Yeah, do you know, it makes me think of Grandmaster Flash. That's all I thought of when I saw it.
Yeah, we're ready, man. We're ready. I'm ready for you guys.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So, do you want me to call you CK Flash? Oh, I know.
That's what most people know me for as a radio presenter. So,
I understand.
Let's keep it real. Keep it moving.
Well, first of all, okay, I'm going to call you CK, like CK Flash.
Yeah, CK. Yeah, people. Yeah,
CK. Okay, but I like the Flash. You see, there you are. First of all, how are you this morning? And we'll introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm pretty good. Just been up from early, maybe 5:30. Just going through emails, keeping everything in line. Got the young people at my club racing today in Gravesend, the first national of the year.
Before you do that, I just want you to introduce yourself and just tell the listeners a little bit about yourself. Go
on. Okay, so I'm DJ CK Flash, MBE, Michael Pusey, MBE. Radio presenter, TV presenter, spent many years on Trace FM presenting a drive time show, along working with Wiley, Dizzy Rascal, and Lethal Bizzle and Boy Better Known in studios for over 10 years. Worked with them, helped promote the garage scene to get the UK artists out there. And while doing that, I used to race BMX when I was younger, came back to BMX, started a BMX club in Brixton and developed one in Peckham from nothing, from literally a back garden track. Trained the young people there, gave them a weightlifting coach, nutritionist, psychologist, and took them from Peckham Estates, basically straight up to the top of the league to the Olympic team. We've won many titles. I've also developed another company called Safe House, which is taking young people who are in care or foster care or leaving care, and basically giving them a flat anywhere in London near enough from here to Birmingham, where we can take them out of their environment if they're in trouble, give them support, give them the tools they need to get back into work, to kind of get back into the society, and basically when they're ready, give them back to the council as a polished product. I manage currently one of my riders who is the current Olympic silver medalist, who is Kai White, who got the silver medal at the Olympics. He's been with me for over 18 years. I've known him since he was 3 years old. I've trained him, mentored him, and his brother, who also made the Olympic team with 7 others from Peckham BMX. And like I said, I've just leveraged my DJ career, my links through other media platforms and DJs to promote young people, promote the community, and promote healthy well-being and doing the right thing.
Wonderful. You have a truly impressive CV.
Yeah.
I've had time to do my research, you know. Truly impressive. And we only met a few days ago. Okay? I have to say that I heard your name. Okay. I had to my due diligence. Completed my due diligence. I thought to say I was one of my own colleagues, okay, you know, right? I'm going to say that I'm going to say that I'm not in my phone here. I'm going to say that I'm going to say that what happens when I meet those who are truly inspired. Uh, I think we've lost our guest. Has he gone? Okay.
You know what? When he said his name and I heard his voice, I was like, oh my God, I used to listen to him when I was younger. I used to listen to CK when I was younger in my car, in my friend's car, sorry, and listen to him on the drive back coming from ministry. And I'm like, when he's talking, I'm like, oh my God, that voice sounds so familiar. And I'm like, and then when he said radio, I was like, that's where I know him from.
Yeah. I don't think the councillor don't know me that way. They just know me as the guy from the BMX track. But like,
no, I know you that way. Don't worry, I know you that way. I know you from the way.
I realize.
That's good. We need you. We need to keep it alive.
Yeah, I was very alive back then. I don't think I'm alive as much back now as I am now. So yeah.
No, that's nice.
And Kyle White came to one of my schools. I think it was Keyworth, and he was teaching the kids how to do BMXing about a couple of months ago.
Oh,
I remember
nice.
him. So yeah, he's quite known to my schools. One of my schools.
Yeah. I talked to
him
him
or
every
his
day.
brother. One of them came, so I know that.
Yeah, brilliant. His brother's doing really well as well. He's just setting up a company for Prues. So Trey White. I don't know if you know Trey White, but yeah, Trey White's doing a lot of good things. I think they're just basically I've mentored them for so long that I just kind of direct them in the way that they should carry on their legacy with BMX and also push it into schools and leverage it to do other things as well. So yeah.
What is the age range that you work with when you say you mentor? Because I could give you a whole load of kids that need mentoring, and that would be.
Oh, we start at the club from about age 3 or 4. As soon as they can literally push a bike, they can get on the track and start riding the track. And then obviously as they get older, 4 or 5, they start to kind of go into their racing straight away. So basically we can take these young kids as soon as they can start walking near enough, and then they go through the ranks. Obviously we have like a little a novice group, which is like beginners, and then you have an intermediate group, which is just below me, and then you have the expert group, which is the guys that are on the team and basically that travel around the country, and they train a little bit harder. But the intermediate and the experts are about the same. It just depends on what they do. But yeah, we mentor a lot of young people. It's just obviously I can't mentor everybody, but I have a team of 8 coaches that kind of follow my lead, and we just kind of just make sure that we just follow in the same program, and I basically just streamline it through the club, and everybody knows what I stand for. Because like I said, I started it in 2003, which is like 20 years this year. I'll just try and keep the standards high and make sure that everything is polished and the staff are looking great, and we just try and make sure we tell the kids the right thing, or the young people the right thing.
A question for you there, and as you know, we are particularly interested in young people, our children. It is interesting to note that you have the BMX track here in Campbell Peckham. I would argue it's Walworth actually, but don't worry, we won't go to that right now. That's a regional matter. Okay. Can you? Am I being heard all right?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's fine. I can hear
you. I'm interested in young people. Are the young children that you are training primarily from homes that are settled, and therefore the parents bring them along, or are these young people from sort of disadvantaged backgrounds who may not have settled home life? What tends to be?
Yeah, I would say 70% of them or 60% of them are from low earning backgrounds, families that are just trying to better themselves. I think since we've moved up to the new track as well, which is obviously what I built in 2013. And it's obviously brand new, and you have a lot of new parents coming into the area, working class kind of parents that are doing really well. You got about 30 to 40% that come in. But really, you know, we don't alienate anybody. The track itself has a lot of free time for young people that just want to maybe get away from their daily life, maybe just want to ride the track, ride a bike, maybe can't afford a bike. But we have 60 bikes, 60 helmets there that we give to them for free to ride the track 7 days a week. And then obviously if they want to take it up, they can always come and volunteer at the club and basically learn what we do at Peckham BMX. And then from there they can race. We support those ones that volunteer to race even all around the UK. So race in Manchester, Birmingham, today they're in Gravesend. And we support young people, but it's just giving them that chance. And sometimes there's barriers that you've got to understand that some young people have. They might want to enter the track, but they might think, oh, we have to pay £3. We don't have £3. So I try and always make sure there's an entrance in. If they don't pay, then they help, and they help to coach. Like you might have a little 12-year-old or 13-year-old that will come to the track and he doesn't have the money. So we say, okay, well, you might as well come in and follow one of the other coaches and help the other little young ones that are turning up with their parents. So it's a balance. What we do, we have free sessions, we have helping sessions, and then we have the parents that just come to the club because they want to pay. And that helps fund all our little programs with the young people. It helps fund the team. It helps fund the BMX team, because we have two sides to Peckham. We have Peckham BMX, and then we have Team 100 Plus, which is part of Peckham BMX, but it's funded by Peckham BMX to help the younger people that are progressing to go all around the country to race. So, yeah, we've got a good program there. It's working. The council's working really well with us at the moment, and we're just looking to build and continue and do more things for the future.
Wonderful, wonderful. And tell me, as a child progresses through your club, is there a requirement that child should not only do the club, but also ensure their academic studies continue? Do you require that the two go hand in hand? I know in boxing, I know in other sports, they always ensure the child continues their studies.
Yeah. No, definitely. I think with us, it just falls hand in hand because we back up the parents. So obviously, if they are having problems in school, or they are not, turning like one of our videos that you'll see Kai White say, he says, yeah, like CK says, if you're late for school, you're late for college, you're late for work, you get a detention, you lose your pay, you can't pay your rent, you can't pay your bills, you got to be disciplined, you got to be focused, you got to be determined just to be on time. So we kind of do that ethos. And I'll be honest with you, some of the young people that I've trained from Peckham over the years that are now semi-retired BMXers that have been British champion and national champions, they've gone on to do a lot of big things. One of them, well, two of them have gone on from growing up at Peckham BMX, selling the parents watches at the track, to now 2 weeks ago opening their own store in Regent Street.
That's amazing.
I want to speak to them.
Yeah.
I want to speak to them. Oh my God.
Yeah. On so just to give you an idea, so and they said to me at the opening of this store, where they've obviously got business partners now, and they've, the store was like, it was £1 million build out, fit out for the store. They actually said, CK, all what you taught us, the whole foundation at the BMX club, is what we use here. And we get up to the shop at like 5:30, 6 o'clock. We make sure all the counters are polished, all the watches are out, and it works really, really, really well. And I just stick by it. I don't really kind of veer off. I just say, if you want something, you've just got to be disciplined, focused, and keep going.
Wonderful. And again, this is part of my research into you. The impact you've had has been quite profound. Okay, and of course, you're in an area where there are too many of our young people. This will not fall. We fall not, have we?
All right, I'll come with the phone. Sorry.
I felt
It must be all the goodness coming through. All the goodness coming through.
You're in an area where there are a small number of young people who are involved in sort of gang and other criminality. But you're right in the center of an area where that's happening. But it doesn't appear to impact upon what you do. You do there.
Yeah, that's something I've heard that quite a lot because I heard somebody either from the council or from the parks department. Look, young people know who they say in Jamaican's term. Duppy know who to frighten.
Now we've got to explain what Duppy means, of course, please.
Yeah. So young people know where the area is safe for them to get up to their criminality or whatever they do. But I've been told this many a times. There's always trouble on the right-hand side of Peckham BMX, to the left-hand side of Peckham BMX. But at the BMX track, there is no trouble. Now, what you got to understand, reason why I always still, when I come onto lives like this, I always say DJ CK Flash, because I'm a man that has helped young people for way more than 20 years, from music to mentoring, and this is not just, and this is from when I had a platform that was given to me and I knew I was blessed, which was Choice FM, which was the only black station that was around to give these young people. But I found that, no disrespect to the DJs, I found that they weren't really giving the young people that needed the platform enough airtime. And between myself and my brother Commander B, we gave a lot of airtime to these young people, which started off the kind of grime scene with So Solid Crew and Miss Dynamite. And then, you know, like I said, we had the studio with Wiley and the rest of them. And I'm well respected in that fault. So basically, when I came to Peckham BMX, we're not just connected in the music scene, but we're connected with a lot of families that respect us for what we've done. And this is where it really extends. Sometimes you have the council that build things, but it's about the personnel who's running it as well, and the team that's running it. And we are so connected that when a DJ drives past the track, he's going to big us up on his radio. When a normal person, like the young lady on the radio, she knows who I am. I've built a BMX track, it inspires her. So when anything like that happens, like when there's trouble in the park or there's trouble around the area, we just got to make a call. We don't even have to call the police. There's been situations where bikes have been stolen from the track when we're not there, and the council can't get this bike back for maybe a week or two. Then we find out about it. We make one phone call, and the next morning the bike is leaned up on the container outside the track. That's the power of community. And that's what we built, not just through me, through the coaches, through the respect that I've built with my team over the years, that we can just make a call to one dad, one young boy that used to race, and he can make the call. You know what the network's like with the postcodes, and they would say, listen, bring that bike back. And I remember one time it happened at the old track, and I remember we asked a question to somebody who knew the person that took the bike, and he said he didn't know that a BMX could create so much heat that he had to bring the bike back so fast. So I think what it is, local young people and local people that, you know, I would say local, you know, gangsters, whatever, they respect what we do. So when we call them, they know, and that's why they will never bring anything around there. And that's why I think with what we've built already with Peckham BMX, when we build anything else from here onwards, the respect will spread out. So if we build the skate park, if we build the clubhouse, it's all about having the right team and the right message going through the organization.
But don't you think that's missing within our community generally? Because, you know, I remember when I was young, because when you say So Solid, all of that, you're saying my age and it's really bad. But, you know, when I was younger, I know I could walk the streets, and if I did something wrong, my mum would know within 5 minutes, because everybody knew my mum. Everybody knew who I was, I knew how to carry myself, because I didn't want it to get back to my mum. And I think that's kind of missing. But my question is, do you have girls at the BMX club?
Yes, I've got, we've got past girls I can give you straight away, which is Blaine Davis, who lives on Wolf Road, and Kat that lives on Old Kent Road. World number 2, world number 3. We've got Shania Harris Sherwood, who lives at the back of Peckham. She is currently British champion, national number 1, and heading towards the Olympic team. Wow. She's been with me since she was 11. We've got a ton of other girls that are coming through. We got quite a few, yeah. We've got a few that are coming. It's equal. It's like, I would say it's like 30-60 when it comes, 30-70 when it comes to the boys. But the girls are definitely in there. When you talk about my top riders, yeah, the girls are always in there. So yeah, we're doing well with the girls as well. But I'd like to add to what you said regarding like the respect level. What we have there is basically like what you said with your mum. Everybody knew your mum, and parents actually bring their clubs not just for the BMX. First and foremost, it's about good behavior, what you're doing at school, you know. And they bring them there because I know that some of my Olympic riders tell me when we're away abroad, now they're like over 18 and 21, we'll be sitting in the hotel room and they say, you know what, CK, you and Nigel, which is Kai White's dad, Nigel White, whenever my mum, when I was younger, when I was misbehaving at school, I would come home and she said, you know what, I'm going to tell CK and Nigel. He said I would straighten up so quickly. It was unbelievable. So even though, you know, we do what we do, we stick by our message. Yeah, we've kind of got that old school flavor at the track, and I think that's what's helping us. And I think parents are bringing their young people there to, straighten them.
But are your members from the BMX track, are they just Southwark based or are they from all over? Because, you know, obviously with the postcode wars and things like that, are they just Southwark based or can they be from everywhere? Because obviously I'm from Bermondsey, so I don't really do stuff within that part of Southwark because obviously I feel it's quite far. But can anyone join?
Yeah, anybody can join. Anybody can join, and we got kids from all over. I would say 70% is all Southwark based, and then the other 30 are people coming from like Lambeth or coming from as far as Kent. Some people come from Hackney. Wow. I think you got to remember, because we are predominantly so out there regarding TV. We're just doing a shoot with CBBC's 10 episodes coming out soon as well, and we have the fastest. Kai White and all the other riders are some of the fastest riders in the world. Currently, Kai White is the most decorated rider for British history. The first rider, not only just to one of the first riders to make the Olympic final, but the only rider for Great Britain to get a medal at the Olympics. Wow. He's also one of the first riders to win a European Championship last year. He's made world level. He almost won. He was injured and he came back from injury after 4 months and almost won a big race in Italy last week. So Kai White's one of the fastest riders in the world around the track. They definitely say that. Okay. So we have that highlight, and we keep producing these riders. And so people travel from all. We've had people come from Latvia, Brazil, America, Los Angeles, and they say they want to bring their kids to Peckham BMX just to meet us. There's one guy who's an Olympian, and he said there was one thing on his bucket list was to visit Peckham BMX when he comes to London. So it's iconic. It's more than just a BMX track.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's so weird that someone I used to listen to back in the days is someone I'm talking to now, and you've done all these amazing things. Because I just remember you as the DJ, but I never knew that you did all these other things behind the scenes as well. So it's like you've got loads of accolades to your life as well. You never know. Never judge a book by its cover. You're definitely one of those.
Yeah. I think because I just crack on with it, and you know, God bless to my brother Commander B, because he taught me how to present, how to talk, and how to get on the radio. It helps a lot when you can present young people in a professional way or the way they want to be presented. And I always did that on the radio. So that kind of, when I started doing the BMX track, I just picked up the phone, started filming, doing the CK Flash show, and we're going around the world, and everybody got to know me. And I went to China like just before the pandemic for a race with Kai, and we turned up on the track, and I was talking to some of these top riders, and I said, "Oh, my name's CK," and they goes, "Oh, we know who you are. You're famous." So
Told you.
yeah, like I said, we've got to leverage when we get a platform to help young people. One, you have to help if you want to improve your life.
Yeah.
Two, you can't improve your life unless you help others. And if you have a platform, bring people up, help people up, because that is what we do. And like I said, I've helped people say to me who know me as a DJ, like I said, like you've known me, people see me as CK Flash, the big DJ that done all this stuff. And I still DJ now. And you get the, I would say, kind of ignorant people that say, well, what do you get out of this Peckham BMX? Because it don't look like it looks like you put more into it than you get back. And I'm like, well, I wouldn't have had a movie on Netflix if I didn't do Peckham BMX. I wouldn't have got an MBE if I didn't do Peckham BMX. I wouldn't have got a TV show with Sky that was, £9 million skateboard, roller skating that I presented with Maya Jama, Stormzy's girlfriend, and a ton of people from Diversity. All these things came because I gave first. So when I tell people, like, sometimes don't look at the money, look at what you can add value to people before you start thinking about money. The money will come. So now I'm being paid for speaking engagement, endorsement engagements. I'm now linked with Nike, Gymshark, Halfords, B&W. They're all coming to me because they want the riders that I manage. And I direct the young people from a young age right up to Kai's age, where we're talking about property. We're talking about investments, how to keep your money, not how to, buy things that are not valued, and how to long last your life so you can live comfortable, so you can go back to what I taught you to younger kids coming up.
That's amazing.
That's powerful. Go ahead, Empress. Go ahead.
I was going to say, you said so many things. So I was going to say, so me trying to book you is going to be very hard, because right now you seem to be doing so many things. To book you to come into my schools would be, because I would literally come and introduce you to my son. I said, do you know who I used to listen to? This is the guy that I used to listen to, because I think it's very important for me. Like everyone says, we need to start involving kids at a secondary level. And I said, but the way primary school kids are now, I think it needs to start from year 4, year 5 and year 6. Saving
what age group is year 4, 5, 6?
So that's like 9, 10, 11.
Yeah.
So, and they're like, oh, but we didn't know we could save, or we didn't know we could have a bank card. And it's like, but the world is very different from when we were younger. You could put it in a tin and stuff like that. But now they've got bank cards for kids. And I say to my son, you need to save money. You need to think, is this worth buying, rather than you saving it for something. And I'm trying to teach kids that, but sometimes they don't get it. And I feel like sometimes when a man or somebody quite prevalent in the community talks to them, they get it more than if it's just a mum or someone in the school. They don't seem to understand it from somebody who they see every day. And you seem like who's got the community.
You're definitely right. I tell people, soon as they can, like you said, soon as they can walk, we get them on the bike. So as soon as they can talk, you can be doing these lessons. A few years ago, this is why exactly it's good that the council have got me on. With the giraffe building that we've got there now that we're not in at the moment, we're trying to get a new one built. We use it for so many things. So we use it for the adults when their kids are on the track. We've got a personal trainer that I have come in that I pay to train the parents to keep fit, because if they're keeping fit, the kids are going to keep fit. These are things that, like you said, you don't know. So basically, I bring in a personal trainer to train the parents while their kids are on the track. It does two things.
Brilliant. Yeah, holistic.
One thing is, it obviously keeps them fit and makes them think about their lifestyle and what they're eating and drinking. So then that affects the young person when they go home with them. They're all on the same level. Then the other thing we use for the hall is that building is that we had a weightlifting gym in there. So basically, personal trainer trains the kids, and that's why we have such a strong program. Then we have a hall there that we had, and we used to bring in mentors from HSBC Bank, people that I know that build property, rent property, young people that rent property. I've got a 23-year-old now that is a property developer and younger. We bring them in and we do these classes for young kids from the age of, say, 7 to 12, 12 to 15, and then 16 and over. We've done this seminar and it's been sold out. You couldn't fit any more parents in there that want their kids. And those younger kids were asking questions that you wouldn't believe that the adults were asking. So it's needed. And that's why, like, at the moment, the Giraffe House where we had all those facilities have been shut. But this is hence why we need another building there. Basically,
my schools are next to the Giraffe House. So my schools, so I don't know if you know John Ruskin Primary School in Keyworth.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, in my schools, I'm the family support worker in both of those schools. And in June, we're having an aspirations week. So I'm getting as many people to come in to talk to kids about what jobs they can do. Because some of our kids have never been out of the Brandon estate. They've never known anything.
Well, there you go. I would say, when you say like that, never been out of the Brandon estate, most of my guys, when I met them on the BMX track, I put one of them on the plane. Hence why, let me throw this story in there. Kai's got another brother called...
Oh, we're losing him again. That's his end. Don't worry, it is his end. We've upgraded all of our equipment here.
So are you there?
Yeah, we're here. We're here.
Sorry about that. I just said that Kai's got another brother called Daniel White, who's the first one to make the Olympic team. But that journey was not easy, because when you go into a predominantly white sport and you bring a lot of young black, urban kids, there's a fight. I won't deny it. But I just keep quiet and tell them, listen, just keep your mouth shut, keep training. When you start winning, everybody will change towards you. This boy should have made the Olympic team. They didn't want to accept him. So then I done my original kind of tough head kind of thing, found some money, spoke to a few guys who had money and said, look, all of you give me £500 each. And I took him and I flew him to Los Angeles. And I hired a motorhome, and I contacted my friends who used to live in England that were the world champions at the time, that now live in Los Angeles, America, where BMX originated. And we trained him for 9 weeks. They were happy to help me. He was so fast. He won every race in America. And when he came back to England, he was so fast, they had to put him on the Olympic team.
Can I just say before you continue, this is why you're here. I had other guests lined up with this Saturday show, but once I read through your CV, when I spoke to the community about your work, I have to say, the fact that this particular club is only a few minutes from my home, I was embarrassed that I hadn't done my research before. It is absolutely outstanding. This is the whole purpose of these shows, to highlight and give platform to men and women who are absolutely movers and shakers. There's ordinary men and women in the community who believe in themselves and the people that they belong to. Okay. Well, we lost the Steve for a moment. So I'm so enthused by this. So before you continue, I did want to say that those of you who are viewing us via Facebook or YouTube, you are able to send questions in to us via the chat. The chat is now open, and I see a few questions, but I will put to CK in a moment. But I'm just going to let him finish with Empress Adna, because obviously we are moving forward with this inspired African man. Success is assured. I always say here, CK, that success is ours for the taking. Okay? And it's so important for us to translate words into action. Otherwise, they're simply hollow echoes. You definitely emphasize this yourself. Well done, well done. Empress Abner.
I was going to ask, are you going to expand the BMX track? Is that your future plans? What are your future plans? What's the next step for CK Flash? What is the next step? Are you going to come back into music? Are you going to DJ again and radio again?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are really on me who know me from the music scene are saying, look, just come back in, because you obviously have the ear for music and you still have a lot of connections. And every so often I kind of DJ and they say, well, you ain't lost nothing. And I said, well, it's never gone anywhere. It's just that I put my energy into a lot of things. So like, I now have Safe House, which is the logo. Where is it? That way. Yeah, you can see the logo.
Oh, got it. Yes. Tell us more about Safe House. Yes, we see it.
Yeah. So Safe House is Safe House came because I was already known for working with young people from music to BMX. and helping. And then obviously, I've bought my houses from long time ago when I was 18 on the Maggie Thatcher program, when you could buy them for like £14,000, which is I don't know if that's ever gonna. I don't think that will ever happen again. But anyway, I still encourage everybody to buy their house anyway. But in general, so I do a bit of property, and then obviously worked out where people was talking to me. They said, "Oh, you look after so many young people. Why don't you do semi-independent or look after kids that are in care? Because you already kind of look after those anyway. You just don't know that they're from care or foster care." So through one of my developments that was going a bit wrong with one of my developers, I wasn't involved in it. They weren't really getting any revenue from it. I said, "Oh, just give me this big old pub that you've got here. Let me try this kids thing, because you've tried to do many things, and we've had to remove squatters and gypsies and other tenants that weren't paying rent." So I took the house in the just before the pandemic, because obviously we didn't know, and got all certified for the councils, and then I opened Safe House, which is basically semi-independent accommodation for 16 plus. And basically it's a 24-hour unit. I've got staff there. Most of the staff there are from the PMX track, funny enough, because we're already working with young people. So we know our setup, we know our standards. It's funny, our standards are not far off what the council want. So we opened, it took me 1 year to the day to get my first young person, because we opened in pandemic, couldn't get hold of nobody. But luckily for me, it was with my developers that obviously some of them are quite wealthy, and I gave them a bit of the business for that particular project, and we kept the place open. And then we got one young person from, where was that? That was from Bromley. Now we're with Dagenham, and we're with a few other boroughs, Redbridge and stuff. And Southwark slowly catching up now. They're realising that I've got this programme running. So everything in its time. So it started, that's a 24-hour unit, staff there 24 hours. And then we have other units where young people just maybe can't mix with others because they get into trouble, and we have to deal with them with a hands-on basis, where we got a 1-bedroom flat. We place them out of the area where they're in trouble, and then we will go in there. Even I get involved. I'm a bit hands-on with that one as well, where we go and deal with the young people. If I'm not hands-on with them, it's my staff, but I do make sure that they do get what they need. So when we kit out the house, the flat, whatever it is, it could be a 1-bedroom, it could be a 2-bedroom, I kit it out to the highest degree regarding, I want them to walk into a property and feel that, hold on, I've actually gone to a standard that I need to keep. Wherever I was living before, if the settees were broke, or there was no TV or no radio, I make them walk into a working environment. So when you walk in, you've either got a 40 or 50-inch plasma, you've got your internet on, you've got a bed with a headboard, you've got brand new sheets, brand new duvet, you've got a microwave, you've got a kettle, you've got a toaster, you've got all your food in your fridge, you've got all your toiletries, you've got toilet paper, you've got toothbrush, toothpaste, soap, whatever you need, bed mats, floor mats, everything. When you walk in there, you think somebody must be living here already. And when you talk to the young people, when they walked in, I just done one recently in Nottingham for Bromley Council, and the young person said when he walked in, this is how you know. I didn't know. I was just doing it. Like I done the BMX. I just do it. I don't want, I just do it. He said, when the boy walked in, he goes, "Oh my God, you didn't have to do all this for me." And that's how you know that you're doing something right.
Yeah,
and we get that on a regular. Yeah, and then you find that social workers, because I wasn't in tune to other people that do what I do, and I know they give a lot less now, I'm kind of finding out. The social workers would walk in, they goes, "Did you do all of this?" And I said, "Yeah." And I said, "This is just how I do it." And from that, it's built my reputation. And we're now becoming so renowned that even the placement officers that give us the young people are saying to me, "Listen, you need to go for Ofsted because you move like you're an Ofsted person without even knowing that you're doing it."
That's amazing. DK, we need to do some collaboration. We need to do some collaboration.
I kind of say here, because what you're demonstrating, and I say this every week, that our community can address the issue of young people who become either involved in some low-level antisocial activity. I won't say knife crime. I'm not going to say drugs and things like that. But I'm going to say there's some low-level activity that we can and we should take care of them. Okay? And what you're demonstrating is that where there's a will, there's a way. Okay? And I hope that your safe house goes from strength to strength. If someone wanted to help to make a donation to give support to this initiative, are they able to do so, CK? Are they able to
Yeah, definitely. Peckham BMX is a CIC, so you can do that anytime through the club. Turn up to the club, get the bank account, put it in there. To say what it is that could help empower and train more coaches, which is what we need as we grow. If we're like, I heard her say about if I'm going to do anything more with the BMX track, yes, we are looking, and we've got a design for a new skate park, which is going to go next to the BMX track, which is the concrete style one that the skateboards and the bladers. And I've had one of the top designers that actually work for us at the track, who travels around the world doing this kind of sport, design it. So it's going to be the best, one of the best in maybe Europe if we build it. And that's going to attract a lot of young people and parents that used to ride skateboards and stuff like that across BMX and bladers. And then we would like Giraffe House to be renewed but brought forward to the closer to the BMX track, so we can have a better Giraffe House, which will house offices upstairs like it is now, with a much bigger hall, so we can have bigger conferences at the track. We can use it for us, for training indoors in the winter. We can use it for the roller skaters. We can use it for, like I said, conferences. We can use it for birthday parties, weddings, showers, toilets. And then upstairs, we can have a studio. We can have Mentivity. We can have other trusts that we know. Because what I said to the councillor the other day was, in Giraffe House, when you had all the organisations, including Lynn Boxing Club, we was all in one building. So when we needed to do something, or we needed a young person that needed to know about boxing or know about, you know, what's going on with their housing or the nursery downstairs, it was all connected, and that's what made us powerful. The problem is now, obviously, I'm talking to the young lady here. I've never met her before, but she knows me. But if she was in the building with an organisation, with Mentivity, with myself, with the nursery, with the boxing club, and we had more of us together, we become a mini council and a mini leadership for young people. So when anything goes wrong, we can just talk to each other. Anytime we have a function and maybe we ain't getting the uptake on some young people, I can call all my kids from the BMX track and say, go to Mentivity, or go to the other organisation, or go to your organisation. So this is why it's really important that you don't just build the facility, you build a hub that can cater for it. Not on the other side of the park, not on this side of the park where the facilities are. And I know we have the cafe over there, and then we've got the football pitch, but that's their facility, that's their hub. We need our hub because we're so packed. 120 kids a session is not a small organisation. It can, and you know, and we were told at an event that has, say, 600, maybe 400 kids, Peckham brings 100 kids to these events. Nobody does that in the UK. So
I hear you. You have our support, don't you worry. You
definitely have my support, CK.
I noticed that there are a few questions on the chat I might just want to put to you. But the first question I think you've already responded to, and that's of course the Safe Housing Project, and you've expanded on what it does. I suppose we hope that you will continue to expand that particular initiative, but I'm aware of many young people locally who would benefit from that service. No doubt about that.
100%, yeah.
But the second question, someone mentioned if you know JD, who had a hit record, and he had a massive building. Do you know this one? I don't know this one. JD?
I do know the name. I don't remember the building. Where was the building?
Yeah, he said that he had I'm told here by a writer, said, if after Mr. Flashery knows JD, who had a hit record, he had a massive building with many studios.
Could be
If
anywhere.
it does he know what happened to that project? I'm not familiar with JD. But he may...
No, I do remember the name. There is a guy called what's his name? He's in Bermondsey and he's got a big studio. Oh, what's his name? Oh God.
All right.
Corey Johnson. Yeah, Corey Johnson.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, he's over there. He's got studio. These are guys that I'm just naturally connected with.
Yes.
So I would like, if I had a studio, I'd have a small studio. But when you want to go big, you can go to somewhere like him. He's got like 5 studios, a video shoot and everything. But yeah. But I can't remember JD's. No.
CK, I was just going to ask you. So basically, a lot of the children that I work with, or the community I work in the Brandon estate, and I have I love music myself, obviously, but I always say to the kids, you need a backup plan if the music doesn't work. So if a child comes to you and says, I want to do music, but maybe they're not the right fit, or do you always offer a backup plan, or try to steer them in another direction? Because a lot of children have their heart set on music, and if it's not for them, they just feel like they failed. But I'm trying, like, my son is not into music. He's very
let's come to answer that question. It's an interesting question.
Yeah, I think personally, it's like with children, some of them have a dream, but obviously they're not fit for that dream. They just need to find their strengths and stick to their strengths. And if they all should have a backup, because I have many backups. I have different streams of income. But it's about finding, like yourselves or like the council, like myself, having the right mentor that can steer them in the right direction. Like I said, some kids have come from BMX and now gone to open watch shops. Some kids have left BMX and now become real estate people or have become investors. It's not always the obvious things that work, like music, like sport. But the idea is for you to kind of teach them without knowing they've been taught a certain platform and a certain discipline. So when it comes to having a back job, people take it for granted, but I almost bought into a McDonald's franchise this year. And they really wanted me to do it. McDonald's came to me because we'd done a show for them, and I said to them, I've always been interested in McDonald's, but like you were saying with the younger kids earlier, that they just didn't have the information. And I said, I just wasn't sure how much it was. And then when they found out, they said, well, why don't you apply? We can get you in maybe a lot cheaper than what we normally give a franchisee. And you can have your own franchise in South London. And then I went behind the scenes. I had to work in a McDonald's for a week, which was brilliant. Like the hat, the clothes, frying the burgers, the chips, the whole lot. And it made me have a different. I always have respect for businesses, as you know. I would have respect, but when you went and worked behind the scenes, it was. I have a different respect. I've always had respect for young people, but I've had a different respect for young people that work in McDonald's, because it's not what people think it is. I'm telling you, I had young people that was in foster care that are now gone to management. Young people that their level of concentration and what they could do, multitasking, serving a customer, making a coffee and looking at a screen for the drive-through at the same time. I was doing some of the jobs, and there was one point, quite a few times, where I like, hold on, let me just step back and watch you guys, because this ain't working for me. I wasn't doing the chips fast enough. I wasn't panicking, because I'm a motivator, so I got it going. And I actually got a lot of the staff going, like we was all doing oli, 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 oi, 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 and everybody was like, what's this going on? He goes, oh, that's CK round there. And they all said they would work for me anytime. But when I left McDonald's at the end of the week, it was amazing. So that's why I said there's many jobs that some young people might not think is cool, but trust me, if you go into these organizations, these franchises, you're going to learn a lot more than just being on the street. So, just try anything else that will give you a wage, help you survive, and learn something from it. And then you can move on. Always have a backup.
Yeah. Right down.
So I can hear you now.
You've gone funny, Martin. You've gone funny.
Have I gone funny? Is that better now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
It's the internet. So what you describe is interesting, but of course the BMX and all the ramifications of the organisation you build has affected people's lives, young people's lives. Okay, what could the council or other members of the community do that will complement your work on the BMX track, that would enhance, I should say, the work on the BMX track? What else could the community do to help you to deliver this service?
Okay, just quick one. Hold on, let me see. I've just seen something on here. Where was it started? Oh yeah, it was started from. The Safe House started in Romford, but now I've had properties in Southwark, Croydon, Bromley, Nottingham, Birmingham soon. All over. It's just expanded. But yeah, what Southwark could do is just give me what I want. The fund is like big lottery, the London Marathon Trust, and load of these funders. They don't even look. They just say to me, CK, what do you want now? What is it you want? Just tell us. So whatever I want, this is the main thing. In Burgess Park particularly, we need to get that skate park built. It's ready. Yep. We've got the design. It's gone through planning. It needs to move forward. When you build that, build the clubhouse, the new giraffe house. That would be the main thing. And then obviously from Southwark, talk to me and let's work out a plan how you can get connected with Safe House and send those young people to me, because even though it's a business, I always invest. Even before I started Safe House and Peckham BMX, I've always invested my money, percentage of it, back into the community. I've always been giving. If it's not through the music, if it's not through like I said, I took that boy to America. That wasn't funded. That was my own money. I can't wait for funding sometimes. Yeah. We have to move now while it's hot. That boy might have given up if I never took him to America. But through him making the Olympic team, then came Kai's brother, then came the Isidore brothers from South Norwood, who all made world finals. Then came Kai. That's because I kept it going. So, Safe House is great. It makes profit. I put it back into the kids. I put it back into the children. We're helping young people get driving license. Yeah. We're helping young people get work experience. Yeah. We're helping people get other jobs. Builders that come to the Safe House projects where a young person might have broke the window or broke the door. I will talk to them. Yeah, we're paying you to fix the window or the door, but could you give this young boy a little bit of money or maybe just some work experience? Yes. I do that. I see how can we just get something out of nothing? And that's what we need. So right now, the planning is we've got two kind of clubhouses. So we've got the clubhouse we want to put on top of the containers that are originally there, the big hub to house everybody, and the skate park. That's a big ask because we're talking like maybe £3 million, maybe £2 to £3 million to get that all sorted. And then just let us do what we do, because we ain't got anything to prove. We're doing it. That's the main thing.
But what about having like a fundraiser? Because I know when governments or like my company can't give me money, me and my friends get together. Like I say this, I've got some rich friends, so I'll get together and I say, I'm trying to raise vouchers for families that are struggling, like refugees, whatever. And I'll put a page out or a notice out, and then my friends will donate. Could we not try something like that for you guys?
Yeah, definitely. Like, especially like within, I think if I called upon like most of my my music links, I think I could really put something together. I think because obviously I've just been doing quite a bit, and even though I've got teams, you still have to keep an eye on the projects, like just for that little edge. Like it's all good running a thing, but as a CEO of most of these projects, I have to still, hence why I'm up at 5 a.m. because I can get 3 hours of, going through the emails and responding and making sure everything's very on point. But yeah, I think a fundraiser concert for certain things is definitely what I've had on my tip list. And I think Southwark Park, Burgess Park could definitely host it. But I know if I brought some of my music links into it, like the likes of who I've worked with, like Wiley's and Dizzy's and So Solid or Old Schools and certain, maybe a few of the younger ones like Gigs that's from around there, we could make a real go of it, and it can raise money to this project.
But Burgess Park is quite a big space because I remember they had the Latino festival, and like I said, you have got great links. And if you need any support from me, because I work in the local community and I work with other local services, I don't mind lending a helping hand to you. So
yes, I think his signal's it's gone down for a little bit. Oh, well, he'll be back shortly. I can see his signal's gone down. He'll be back. Don't you worry. Give it time. What an inspiring young man
he is. But I didn't know Giraffe House was closed because I used to send my son there to go to play schemes. So they used to offer it to kids in the community for a certain price. But if your parents couldn't afford it, they would do a subsidy for the children. And I remember they used to do it on the holidays, and there's a roller skating, the kids will be outside playing, they get offered food. So I know Giraffe Hut really, really well because I walk past there to get home. So it's really interesting to know, like, it's CK is that someone who lives in the area, but when you're not aware of him, it's so unreal. And like I said, I knew him from back in the days of music. It really says my age, and I hate that. But it's nice to know that someone looks out for our community. And like I was going to ask you about the Safe House as well. What is the age group that it stops at for the young people? What age do you stop at?
At the moment, we are 18 plus, because when we came into it, as you know, it was something that I never done before. So my manager, who's a family friend, he's been in it 20 years. He was kind of semi-retiring. And then he saw what I was doing, and I think because he's known me from when I was been in like maybe 5 years old or 6 years old, and he knew what I was doing. He always heard about me through my brothers and whatever. He decided just to stay with me. So he advised me just to start with the 18-year-olds first because it's less regulated, so I can learn the business, which I was happy with. I was like, let me just learn it over the next 2-3 years. And now what I've done is we're now getting ready to get this new Ofsted regulation, which now makes you deal with the 16 to 17-year-olds. But I'm going to go a step further because I've learned so much over the years. I can talk very fluently about the business and how it works. And obviously having a manager like him that we talk every day, I've learned a lot. So now we're looking to go from the 14 to 25 age group. So you have 14 to 16, 16 to 17, 18 to 25 age group. So that's the age group at the moment. And if that all works well and it runs for the next 2 years, then I'll look to go into the youngers. But more with the younger group, I would more prefer them to come to like things like the BMX track and stuff like that, and leave it. I don't want to get too big because I want to make sure I keep the quality and the delivery correct for the young people. Because some people see numbers and see bigger things and jump, and I'm like, I don't do that. I prefer build a team that can manage the growth. And when the growth is big and the team is all the same, then we can move forward. There's no rush. There's plenty of time.
Quality over quantity.
Absolutely.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. I'm conscious of time, so you've I've not even opened the line, which goes. It's fine. We're going to have to get you back again because there's some other issues I want to raise with you. But clearly, what you are again demonstrating that we can do for self. I always say reparations begins with self. We've got to self-repair. Within the community, we have the talent, we have the resources. We have the wherewithal to address all the issues that affect our community. And you are a demonstration of that fact. Just the last few very quick questions. First of all, I think you would enjoy with me when you give a big shout out to Nicholas of Pen People. Huh? What a fantastic
definitely.
He is. Yeah? He's someone who's truly inspired, someone just like you in so many ways. How long have you known him, the good old Nicholas? Huh?
When I came to Peckham, so obviously again, leveraging my CK Flash fame, people heard I was doing the track and people was coming around from all sorts, and then he heard this guy CK from Choice FM is round there running the BMX club in Burden Bush, which is the first track off of Old Kent Road, which you would know, which needs refurbishing now. We want to keep that going as the legacy track. And then he was running a bike project just around the corner where he was repairing bikes. So obviously, it wasn't the same as us because we were just dealing with BMXs, but any kids that wanted any bikes out of that, then we would send them to Nicholas and he would repair them. And also we do road rides in the winter where we ride from Burgess Park to Crystal Palace. It's about a 22, 23 mile ride. for fitness. We
Yes.
do in say like October to December for about 8-10 weeks, and all the kids put on their helmets, put on their high vises, and we take them on a ride every Sunday morning, anytime between like 6 and 7 a.m. We get them up early, and we meet there, we do the ride, and then we have a nice little maybe tea or a little breakfast after, or on some of the weeks.
That's so lovely. I would do it, but I can't get up at 6.
Sorry, you're there. My mum keeps calling.
Oh, he's like,
That's all right. No,
Can't answer Mummy's phone. I would love to do that, but I can't wake up at 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning. And the last time I rode a bike, I went into a police van, so I won't be doing that.
You know why we do that early? Because there's less traffic on the road, and it's easier. You can take your time. You can ride slowly. 7 o'clock. I'd say 7 o'clock, 7:30. But it helps. You know, it helps them to get into that structure of being organized. Because like today, they're at a BMX race. They would have had to wake up at that time to have their breakfast, to digest for practice at maybe 8:30, 9 o'clock. And then they start racing at about 11, and they're going to be racing all day, and they repeat the same thing tomorrow. So it's all just having and it's the same for work. You would wake up for work for 7 o'clock. So, you know, you'll get prepared. So it's just, like I said, training them without them knowing they're being trained. So they're going out to ride a bike to have fun. They meet CK at the end. I ride somewhere, or I drive in my car and bib them up the hill, like, come on, get up the hill, come on, keep pushing. And then at the end of it, I don't do it.
Then writing, huh?
Yeah, no, I do it, but I'm more like to push them because they're younger, they're pushing. I'm gonna be 50 this year, so like I said, we push them, and some weeks what I do, I just, like I said, I take my money, invest back in the community. I take them all to the CAF, and I buy them all breakfast. So they go on we've done our training before 9 o'clock, and we've had a nice breakfast, and we're going home on a vibe. And their day for Sunday is going to set them up for the rest of their week if they're at work, college, or school.
Well, you know what your name should be? CK Flash Community Dad. That should be your name. CK Flash Community Dad. That's your name today.
We need more community dads. I'm going to give also a big shout out to Sayus of Mentivity as well. Another brother just like you, CK, huh?
Yeah, definitely. I know those guys well.
I don't know if you know him for that. Huh?
Not long, you know, not long. I went. Somebody invited me to Anthony King's get together. He has every Friday with the police, the Metropolitan Police, and the councillors. And this is again CK Flash mode. A DJ called Milk Tray, who does big stuff. He said to me, "You're in Croydon, because I live that way now, because I lived down before." And he goes, "You need to come to this meeting." I don't know how they could have this meeting without having you involved. So I went there, and just like this interview, I just said a few words, and the meeting just blew up. Like they said, "Who's this guy? Where's he come from?" And then I met Sace with the Leon from Mentivity.
That's right. Yeah.
And then they were telling me, "You don't need to tell us. We know who you are, man. We lived on the block just opposite the track. We know who you are." So, like I said, I always still leverage the name because I know the name carries a lot of weight. You know what I mean? So that was it. And then I've known them about maybe a couple of years now, maybe about a year and a half.
Yeah, that's right.
And so again, they're doing major stuff in the community.
Yes.
And I didn't even know about them. And I've been in Peckham BMX from 2005.
Yes.
Never knew.
Right.
Never knew to 2 years ago. So that's why it's important for us to have a hub where people can use, or people can come and do stuff, because the more we're together, we're going to be more powerful. And I think somebody said it, when black people come together, we're more powerful than anything. And that's what the fear of people is.
You're right. I'll also give a big shout out to Anthony King there in Croydon, doing excellent work. You know, I've got to get him into the studio. So I highlight these names because I know each of these gentlemen who are passionate. They are good fathers. They are passionate about our children, you know, and they are passionate to an extent that they'll sacrifice themselves for our children. And men like this are worth their weight in computer chip, and that's more valuable than gold bullion these days, you know. So I just want to give a really big shout out to all of you. But we're almost finished now. what would be your closing words to young people, to their parents and the wider community? What's your wise words for us all? CK. Your wise words.
I would say definitely have prepare to hear some no's in your life. Yeah. Prepare to hear some no's. Yeah. It's not everything's gonna be yes. And it's not everything you're gonna have to react to. With every action, there's a reaction.
Right.
Sometimes it's better to move slowly than move fast. Some of us are moving too fast that we're missing a lot of information, a lot of education that could be just passed by. Listen to your grandparents, listen to your parents, listen to the people that came before you. They've done things or they've made the mistakes. But if you listen to them and you take a slow path, eventually you surpass the people that are trying to get there fast. Like they said, fast money can be spent fast, slow money can be made and continued into legacy. So take your time, stay focused, stay on your path, but take your time and take every day one step at a time. 1% compounded every day can make a million, but 1% of nothing is nothing.
My gosh, Bob, powerful. Empress Abner, I'm sure you want to say something.
I told you, CK Flash Community Dad. That's all I've got to say. CK Flash Community Dad. All I'm going to say. That's going to be your name. That's my name for you now.
Oh, good.
Noted. CK, this has been a pleasure. Okay. You know, in life, you just got to follow your intuition. Okay. I had a number of guests all lined up some weeks ago for this particular Saturday. But when I met you this week, and I eventually phoned you, I was certain this needs to happen now.
Yeah, of course.
There's something about the energy around us right now. I know that there are a number of young people who will watch the video on YouTube or watch the video on Facebook or go to Mixcloud and review what you've said. And they'll visit you. I'm sure they'll visit you at the BMX track or seek out your advice. Yeah, go ahead.
It's a big year this year because next week my mum turns 90.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, my mum, and she's got all her wits about her. You'll see her on my Instagram. She's quite funny. She's Jamaican and she doesn't mix her words with me. She gives me what for all the time, even though I've achieved so much. And then I turned 50 this year. So it's a big year. And it's 20 years. 20 years of running Peckham BMX this year.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm really happy to be alive.
Yes.
I'm trying to keep my health, eat the healthy food, drink loads of water, and basically to keep my life prolonged so I can give younger people the opportunity to do what I do when my time comes.
Thank you so much, CK. You've been an outstanding guest. We will get you back in again because there's some other subjects I would have probe you with, but most certainly yourself and Anthony King there in Croydon are two gentlemen, most certainly, who are so inspiring for young people. You've got them into the idea that they can be enterprising, got them into discipline, personal discipline. These are each person, young person that have encountered you, the vast majority of them you've affected them in a profound and positive way. So they now become viable, economically viable members of our community. Okay.
And could I just add? Yeah, okay. Could I just add, just to finish off? One thing we gotta say is good luck to Anthony Joshua tonight in the fight, which is good because I know him as well. And also watch out for us on we had a movie that the young people can maybe see on YouTube. It was on Netflix, iTunes, and MTV called The Story of Peckham BMX, One Way Up, which is the finger you'll see on my top. And it's still on iTunes. You can watch it. That will tell you the whole story, how we started. And it features the old tracks and all the old riders. And then watch out for us on CBBCs in the coming weeks. I'm saying the next 3 to 4 weeks. We got a series, 10 episodes on there, so you'll see Peckham BMX live on your TV as well.
That sounds amazing. Sounds really amazing.
Instagram.
I've added you.
CK Flash.
I've added you.
CK Flash MBE. So you'll see me on there.
I've added you. And CK, if we can do some collaborations with my schools, I would really love that.
Yeah,
So what-
definitely. I'll come in to talk. I
Yeah.
will definitely come in to talk, and we can do that. Yeah,
Yeah, because
definitely. No problem.
we've
Let
got
me
an
know.
aspirations week coming up, so I think you would be really good for that.
There you go.
Yeah.
And we've got maybe a school disco, so maybe you could help with that as well.
All right. No problem. No
Right.
problem. Let's reach out, and I'll be there.
All right,
Okay.
thank you, CK.
CK, thank you so much for spending this time with us. Well done.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work. Yeah, keep up the good work.
Thank you.
And
God
on
bless.
behalf of the community, thank you. Thank you.
Have a good weekend, CK. Community dads, have a good weekend.
One way up. One way up.
Yeah, one way up.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Wonderful, wow, that's something else. That's something else.
You've gone funny again.
All right, funny. Okay, I'm going to do right now. My signal is very strong. Is that better?
No, not better.
Not better yet.
Now, yay, we're back to you. You're back.
Okay, thank you. So, that was something else, wasn't it? Truly impressive.
I didn't know he did the BMXing. I thought it was someone else. So I'm so like, but I'm like starstruck, because if you knew this man back in the days and how the fan base and everything, I can't even tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to get into one of his concerts was quite hard. And for me to say this as a Muslim, it's a bit bad, but but obviously I wasn't Muslim before when I knew CK. But me and my friend Jessica, don't want to name out names, Hawa, Feroza, there's Julia and certain other people. We used to go to his places a lot, so it's interesting.
Okay. It was truly inspirational. As I said, his profile. So we only touched the surface today. There's much more to him than we've been able.
And he's so humble.
So humble.
That's what I love. He's so humble. He's so down to earth. It's just like being with one of the people from the block. That's what it's like.
Without a shadow of a doubt. And what he demonstrates that when you have a will, there is a way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know I keep saying it. Translate words into action.
But he's done that. He's 100% done that. And it's like he's found these little pockets of places. He's found that there's a need, and he's just gone in there and done something. He's not cared about what anyone said or what anyone's doing. He's just worried about himself. And the fact that he said he wants to keep things small makes me feel like, he's not about making money or looking big or making grand gestures and stuff. He's just a humble local man that just wants to see his community thrive. And I love that.
This is so true. And I also want to encourage those of you who are viewing us by YouTube and Facebook to give us a like. Let's put it up on the screen. This thing, the thumbs up. There you are, the thumbs up, the like, okay? Or you can subscribe, therefore you're notified of future programs or what will be on there, and share with your friends and your family. Spread the words, okay? Spread the word, please. It's the Motivator Show, where success is ours for the taking. Oh my gosh. Emphas Abner, huh? Okay.
I love today's show. I love shows like this. Okay. These shows get me like riled up a bit. They get me a bit riled up. Need to calm down though. Need to take it down, but yeah.
And it's so important that those moms and dads, those young people who are viewing this video and are feeling a bit lost, please go down to the BMX track there in Burgess Park. Talk to him what your needs are, and I'm sure he will either redirect you or give you a space at that track. I, for one, I don't mind. I'm not on planning anymore, so I can say this. I'll be supporting his application to extend the play facilities in Burgess Park. It makes good sense. It's actually what we call metropolitan open land, but play facilities, sports facilities are permitted on metropolitan open land.
But I think it's really good. And also I was thinking about him when he talks about the community hub, because I know Southwark are very interested in doing that. And I was thinking about inviting him to one of our Keeping Our Community Strong panels, which I attend every 2 weeks, where we talk about what we need in the local community. So he would be really good for that. And that's why I said, so he's someone that I could reach out to and make connections with as well. And that's what I'm all about, making connections. I love making connections with people. And I think, I feel it's not only that, he's got the same mentality I has. We need to go back to the old school of parenting. We definitely need to go back to the old school of parenting, because I think if I didn't have the old school parenting, I wouldn't be the person I am today. 100%.
Indeed, and in fact, maybe that's a show in itself. Parenting, child rearing.
Yeah, that's a very good show.
I'm going to. Don't you worry. I've got they're coming. Don't you worry, mine first. They're coming. It's just getting the right personality. They're able to speak about the subject with an enthusiasm, an inspiring way.
You know what you need to have on here as well?
Do
you know what you need to have on here as well? I don't want to offend anybody, but in our community, a lot of our parents struggle with their children who have special educational needs, and getting someone to speak about that, and I do know someone to talk about that on this platform would be really good, because I know a lot of my parents are struggling and experience the stresses of having maybe 1 or 2 children that have autism or ADHD. They're going through a lot, and it's mind-blowing. But also, I wanted to say one good thing that actually happened to me this week I forgot to mention is my parent had to represent herself in court today and won her court case because she couldn't get legal aid. So big up to this parent who did that on Friday.
The confidence required to represent yourself in court is very high. I'm now very conscious it's 10 o'clock. I will disconnect from the Galaxy Afui network, and I welcome the next presenter. Let me do that now. There you are. I'll disconnect. There you go. Disconnected. And I will say to the YouTube and Facebook Mixcloud followers, thank you for your listening and your eyes. We welcome your feedback. I did want to emphasize, we welcome your feedback or suggestions for the personality or themes or future shows. This year will be truly impressive. They will feel really inspired people from the community.
We've gone funny again.
Only that getting better. Truly inspired people from the community.
Going funny again.
Inspire people from the community who we hope to have on the show. What our purpose is? The purpose being is to inspire and to motivate people to action, okay? Because actions speak louder than words. And also to affect our mindset, to be quite clear that success is ours for the taking, okay? And as we impact your lives, okay, you will change yourself for the better, okay? Because there is no failures around here. We're all moving towards our personal goals, okay? There you are. And Empress Abner, do you want to share some wise words before we leave? There you go. You thought about that. You're thinking about it.
I had to think about it. I just think, like CK Flash Community Dad said, you take small steps. Sometimes it's the slow steps and the small steps that you take to make the great success. So I definitely would agree with the Community Dad there.
Thank you so much. In that case, then, until the next strong, I am Demotive Vita alongside
Empress Abner. I'm going to sleep now, guys, because I've got to get. I'm still fasting, so I'm going to sleep.
Take care, everybody. Take care.
Bye.
Until the next time. Oh wow, there you go. There we go. And of course, next week will be another inspired week. Don't you worry. I welcome your listening ears. Okay. Be assured that these programs will continue, and we will continue to inspire and continue to transform all of our lives, simply some of our lives. Thank you. Take care. Turn this off. Okay. Oh, there we go.